are dismal. Dismal minus, they've served me up half hour of science fiction this week in the shape of ANDOR. They've done it, and I enjoyed it, and I'm going to tell you why. They can do it. It's there. With this show and the people behind it, the spectre of Kathleen Kennedy is still there, and I know I don't normally get that political with this shtick, but this shows what promise the guys and girls behind ANDOR can do. This was just a nice slice of sci-fi Star Wars style, and I loved it, and I'm going to tell you why. If you hate me for it, well then you still join me after the scroll and dislike. Rather than like, subscribe and dislike me every week. But whatever you do, comment as well and hit the notification bell, because it really does. You don't know until you delve into the algorithm verse how much how good it helps. So scroll time, join me. Bonjour. Yes, so we all knew this week, after the heist and all the action, and I've been moaning about lack of action, I've been moaning and groaning like a groany old hog about walking, talking, etc. And people have come at me and said, well, hog boy, mate, it can't all be action, it can't all be, you know, moving the story forward, lol. I get it. I'm not asking for non-stop action set pieces every week. I'm really not. This week proved that you can do a drama driven episode of TV without any gunplay and without any kind of action set pieces, and it can be Star Wars. You haven't got to do a great deal just to keep fanboys happy without giving us Easter eggs from 18 episodes of Clone Wars and one scene in the Ewok Summer Christmas Special. Anyway, don't start me off on Ewoks, because I'm happy this week. Now, Cyril, the security guard, I'm still loving this boy. For some reason, his story arc I'm finding so intriguing, and it's that that is the slow burn of this whole series. I need that to pay off large for me. I will hate the creators of this show if they do not give me a satisfactory ending to his story arc, because for some reason I'm finding him every time he's about, and he's deadpan and it's the same old thing, and now he's still eating his Star Wars Cocoa Pops this week. But my God, he's got to be murdering his mum somewhere along the line, isn't he, before he joins the dark side. He's got to, because you wouldn't, I mean, they could have drilled down a bit more into the regret he had going home, because fuck, you must be on a low one to go home to that mother. He's got to do her in. He's got to do her in. And throughout the whole episode, this is everything I loved. There was so much I loved. I'm going to leave the little bits I didn't like to the end. Who knew? Because there's a lot more that I did like. There was a really great atmosphere of the Empire. So after the heist, and this was always going to be the post-heist episode, wasn't it? So you wasn't ever going to get going beyond this in action and adventure. We always knew it was going to be, well, anyone with any modicum of intelligence would have known it was going to be a step back, little breather. Oh, let's go again. What's next for everyone? And this was just a perfect episode that did that. I would say, just quickly, that the previous 6 episodes could have been done a lot quicker to get to this point, because this was just a great episode of telly. It just was. Sorry, I said telly. For my foreign followers, that means TV. Because it was, so the Empire's coming down hardcore because of what they did with the heist and that. So repercussions, excellent. Adult stuff, you know, consequences for actions. And that's a lot about what this episode's about. And I just love the overall, that totalitarian feel about the Empire coming down heavy. So we go back and see everyone trying to do different things, and how the Empire's coming down heavy. Old Sven's bird, she has to go and meet the miserable woman who was in charge of the team on the planet for the last 3 episodes. I forget all the names. Oh, and she scrubs up well, to be fair. Anyway, they meet, but how they do the scene with practical effects and a bit of CGI, and how you got the stormtroopers, which is pure, obviously pure Star Wars, and just as she has to kind of walk through them, and how they, you know, the feeling of the Empire coming down heavy on everyone. And they've got scenes with the old security squad with the old stony face. Well, actually, her character's making sense now. It's taken a long while. Still maintain it's taken far too long for us to get to this point. But we got here, and it's exciting now because all the elements have been brought through. Now we realise about the security, the Empire, inspections, whatever it is, you know what I'm on about. And she's still got, the actress has still got her most miserablest face, which I still say is a bit over the top, but nevertheless, they're all coming round to her. But this is also the one-man episode. I've noticed that we have got the spectre of Kathleen Kennedy hanging heavy over this. So you've got Sven's bird meeting the... I'm going to stop saying bird. You've got Sven's female colleague meeting the female leader of the heist team. We see the other female member of the heist team looking up at Empire's Star Cruiser. Why the fuck it is in a planet's atmosphere? I don't know why I was that geeky about that one scene, but I thought it didn't make, I don't know, there was other ways they done in this episode, like I say, stormtroopers at the airport and on the, which we'll get to in a minute, on the beach. Stormtroopers on the Empire on the beach at the end of the episode with old Cassian. They done it so much better for the rest of the episode. Why they needed a Star Destroyer in the atmosphere of a planet, it didn't look good. I know what they were going for, but it doesn't work, lads, sorry. But nevertheless, that's a minor niggle. But it's making sense. Like, I don't know why she, but this woman episode now, it's her getting her, and it's done well. It's done well, and I'm glad that, because you're hating the other guy who she went to a couple of episodes ago, aren't you? The Empire security woman, and she's trying to do. She knows she's got a gut feeling what's going on. They're all going, oh no. It's all on the nose a bit with the whole one-man thing this episode. That's the only thing I'll say, because it's, you know, it's Mon Mothma, it's the one at the security guard, it's the heist leader, the heist's colleague. Oh, come on, even on a balanced, I mean, I know the name of the show is Andor, but we only see him for 5 minutes, I reckon, total runtime. We must only see him for 5 minutes. But I'm not moaning about that, because everything else is going on, and we know what happens with Andor, and he's kind of, in a way, the least interesting character. But I think the writers and directors, I think everyone, the creators, they know that. There ain't a lot they can do with him, and that's why we've got all these other characters pushed forward. Now, the other thing I will say is, the older actors in this series so far, Cassian's stepmother or foster parent, whatever you want to call her, Mon Mothma, old Sven, the older actors in this episode really are at the forefront. It really does. They really are in this episode. It really has gelled it together, and it's down to the directors and the writing as well, that have kind of brought these guys and girls in such a ways, like the gravitas that these more experienced actors bring to it. You can see it. There's a scene with old Sven and Mothma where she's apoplectic about what he's done and asking him, did you do this? And he's going, oh, You know, like how he's been a bit all the way along. He's going, oh, and she's going, you did. Oh, just great acting from those two. I'm not saying everyone else is shit. I'm just saying that there was some great performances, and Cassian's, I was going to say mum then. Oh, let's just call her. Let's call her Cassian's mum. And the robot, pure Star Wars. The robot. They had the little black robot that was whizzing around the Death Star in the original Star Wars for a moment in a scene. They're just getting enough Star Wars in there. Stormtroopers, robots, and fuck me, fuck my old boots, aliens. Yay! Yay! So we got Star Destroyers, we got robots, we got Stormtroopers. Oh fucking hell! And now we got aliens. They do. So Cassian fucks off with all his dough and decides to, you know, get a bird on the firm, and I don't know what he's doing on this party planet. It was so obviously done. It was so obviously filmed in England, because it's concrete steps by the beach. It's so grey and dull, this party planet, but it's full of aliens. So while I'm laughing at it, this episode was so much fun that I'm kind of thinking, hold on, am I in on the joke here? The fact that he's on the party planet and he tells his bird, like, oh, I'm going out for some ice creams or fish and chips, whatever it is. And it's all these grey steps, like you're at Southend or you're at Walton on the Naze, like, and I love those two places, but it's England and it's grey, even on the sunniest day. But I loved it for that. I have loved it for that. You know, the robots, pure Star Wars, but it is the ladies' show. But like I say, that's the real small stuff. And right at the end, Cassian ends up in court. He's banging trouble now, banging trouble. And the court scene even reminded me, it was how they did it in such a I don't know what the words are. I bet, see, my mate Midlife Nerded would know how to describe what I'm trying to say about it. It's not satirical, but the cult scene where Andor turns up in, and she would know. She would know. And by the way, big shout out to Midlife Nerded. I'm going to leave a link in my video for her. And we're toing and froing with mutual respect for the videos we're doing, but check hers out because she's a lot more structured and lucid than I am. But it reminded me a lot. It was very Terry Gilliam, almost. They weren't riffing off him or anything, but that's a good thing. So we've got a Star Wars show here made by Dismal Minus, where I'm thinking, and this dark court scene where she, you know, the judge at the end says, oh, normally this is 6 months, and he's you know, he didn't do anything wrong. It reminded me of Anger Management a little bit, where he's going, hold on, I haven't done anything, and there's a stormtrooper and a robot and everything, and he's getting right into trouble just by going, I've done nothing wrong. But it was fun. It was great. Yeah, it was a bit Terry Gilliam at the end, without all the robots and the you know, Brazil, that was the film. So anyway, it was a great, do you know what, it was great. Even old Mon Mothma's daughter turning up halfway through, they fucked her off quick, which was good. Even she didn't spoil it for me. And the practical effects in it really showed up. You can tell because you can tell because until you want to do a video on YouTube and you're thinking about things, you can tell that everything's working, because until you kind of pause or go back and watch it again and start structuring some kind of video critique, if you've just watched it and you haven't noticed CGI, yeah, you know, you've just seen the Star Cruiser, and I just thought, well, why is it in the atmosphere? But I wasn't thinking, oh fuck, that's bad CGI. At no point, the practical effects, they get it. These are proper, decent, creative adults at the helm of this show, And I know I've had my ups and downs, and again, that's down to my old mate Space Lizard, my old mate Taters, and Midlife Nerded, and I do agree with them to a certain extent about the structuring, and I do know Act 1, 2, 3 structure and all that. I think that is making excuses for a mess. For a mess, not of the guys and girls on the ground, not of their creation. I would say it's her up there, old KK, because you can tell where the balance has gone. I mean, Andor, the name of the show, and I know this is classic Dismal, he ain't in it a lot, but the balance is well off. If you was going to sit down and be really critical, but it didn't spoil it too much, just made me wince a bit. But I don't know if, you know, if they're finally just making me succumb to it. You know, if I'm just numbed to it now, it's fine. Oh, no, it's another one, it's another one, another one. I've got nothing against women, but if you're going to go for equality, there weren't any. It weren't equal. It weren't equal here, but it didn't spoil it. I ain't going to go there, because I tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode of Andor. Decent sci-fi, Star Wars flavouring. And look, again, looking forward to next week. I've trusted these guys and girls to deliver, and they have. Nowhere near perfect. But this, do you know what? I think I've enjoyed this episode the most since episode 1. Leaving structuring aside, episode 1 I thoroughly enjoyed as, oh my God, this is a little bit Star Wars, but it's sci-fi and it's a little bit grown up. And so was this. So, ain't bad going for 2 months worth, is it? No, I want to leave it on a positive, guys. I want to leave it on a positive. So, no, I did enjoy this one. And if you haven't seen it and you wanted a spoilery view of what Hog had to say, and if you haven't watched it so far because I put you off, which I do not intend to do at any point in any given time, no, go and watch it, and you're better off binging it, and by this episode, you'll be loving it. And on that note, that's all I've got to say. I will bid you adios.